following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. Main Street Sports Today, live from Spring Fling 2022, is brought to you in part by Complete Service Heat and Air, Keller Williams Lee Realty, First Lending Solutions, and Pamela Witt, State Farm, Micah Blunt Agency, Jeff Evie for State Representative, Riverside Golf Links, Jody Jones DDS, and by Park Durham Injury Law. Broadcasting live from the campus of Middle Tennessee State University, filling in for Mo and Chris, here's George Plaster.
And hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is day 2 of our coverage of Spring Fling, which takes place in and around Murfreesboro, Tennessee. We're broadcasting from MTSU's Sports Hall of Fame facility. And right off the bat, I want to thank Chris Massaro and in particular Sports Information Director Mark Owens for their help in making this happen. I think most of you who will end up watching this sort of know the drill right now. I'm filling in for Chris Yao and Maurice Patton. They'll be back with you at this time starting on Monday. The new show that I'm going to get involved with Watson Brown and Billy Derrick will start on Monday, July the 11th. We're very much looking forward to it. I think we have some great stuff lined up and encourage all of you to be a part of it. It's a 4 to 6 p.m. show Monday through Friday, and obviously for those who can't see it at that point, it'll be available in any number of ways. Speaking of Billy Derrick, he's the traveling road show today. He's in Hoover, Alabama. That's a suburb of Birmingham where the SEC baseball tournament is trying its darndest to happen. Billy, tell me what's going on.
George, you're exactly right. It's going to be difficult these next few days, but Auburn and Kentucky are actually playing right now. They're at the top of the 5th. Kentucky leads Auburn 1-0. There's supposed to be 2 more games today, and then Vanderbilt and Tennessee were supposed to play later tonight as the last game, but that does not look like that's going to happen. So it seems like every day we got a game that's pushed behind, and the same thing's happening tonight. So, but it's a good crowd here, George. There's a little wind. It's not as warm as it usually is down here this time of year, but pretty good crowd for the conditions, and we're going to try to have some fun down here.
Okay, help me with this, because when I go to the SEC's website with my vast internet skills, it basically shows you that there are 3 games, but it doesn't tell you that Tennessee and Vanderbilt have been pushed aside. So what's keeping it from being, quote, official?
So I think they're just going to try to wait and see how long these games take today, because sometimes you see games, you know, George, with baseball, sometimes you get a game that's 2.5 hours, sometimes you get a game that's 3.5 hours. If one of these games goes really short, and all of them go really short, they might be able to squeeze Vandy, Tennessee in tonight, but it's more of a wait and see. We'll probably get an official word on Vandy, Tennessee either after this one or sometime, between the next Alabama-Arkansas game to kind of read the situation and see how long these are going to take. But I'll tell you this, George, I would not bet on watching Tennessee Vandy tonight. So that's kind of where we stand right now, mainly because of you never know when this rain is going to come. The forecast has been a little inaccurate, especially these past couple of days down here. But we're definitely going to be seeing more rain tonight, and that's certainly not going to help. Yeah,
Weather Channel's got its hands full. So,
oh, yeah.
Billy, help me with this. It appears to me that after Vandy's win, I don't know, around midnight, 1 in the morning against Ole Miss, that now they've got Tennessee, the number 1 team in the country, and I think number 1 by a fairly significant margin. Mm-hmm. Isn't this a win that would basically erase Vanderbilt's miserable weekend against LSU and maybe get them back in a position where they host on the opening weekend?
That's what it feels like, George. I think Vanderbilt would have to do a little bit more than just beating Tennessee because right now they're in double elimination mode. So if they beat Tennessee and then maybe get another win against a quality opponent, I think they could be pretty confident in hosting. Now, I wouldn't bet on it at that point because of the damage the sweep against LSU did. But in terms of the motivation and kind of psyche of this team right now, George, it felt like getting that Ole Miss win helped them get over a little bit of a hump. And now if you can beat Tennessee after getting swept by your in-state rival earlier this season, that I think would do wonders. But the big thing with this team, George, and we've talked about it before, they just have not been able to find any sort of consistency offensively. And obviously the pitching depth is not where it has been under Coach Corbin. So, obviously this is a team that nobody wants to see in their regional, George, as a 2-seed or a 1-seed. But at the same time, you got to believe they would rather host a regional at home than go on the road.
Well, that's the case. Billy Derrick joins us from Hoover, Alabama, which is a suburb of Birmingham, and it's where the SEC baseball tournament, the waterlog tournament, is going on. Billy, real quickly, does an extra day help Vandy at all?
I don't. At this point, George, I think every day helps. I think an extra day would help Vanderbilt. But I think this year for this team, just playing and gaining more experience every day does matter. So, you get another arm out there. You get a guy, another rep that, maybe needs to get back on track like a Carter Young last night. So I think with this team, the more they play, the better, because the more acquainted they get, with playing with each other and just kind of getting used to playing around each other and being with each other. And I don't know about that, Georgia. I don't know that another day of rest would help that much, but I know these guys want to keep playing right now.
Kentucky is up on Auburn right now, 1-0. Auburn's ranked 24th in the country, so a mild surprise in the early going. Billy, anything else you want to share?
George, that's pretty much it. But we've got a lot of games today. We've got 3 that they're going to try to fit in here. But man, it's going to be interesting. I really think, George, I'll tell you this: I think they're going to go single elimination from Friday on because they're just not going to be able to fit all of them. So you can take that to the bank, George. I know you like to take a lot of things to the bank. You can take that one to the bank. They'll probably go single elimination on Friday.
Actually, Billy, what I'd like to take to the bank, you can't give me.
George, thanks for having me on.
Okay, we'll talk to you later in the show.
All right, see ya.
Billy Derrick joining us live from the stadium down in Hoover where the SEC men's baseball tournament is going on. So it looks like Tennessee and Vandy may be like at the crack of dawn tomorrow, potentially as early as 9:30 in the morning. Look, we all know what's going on. I'm not going to play Weather Channel, although I could, because you got a trough aloft. That's a trough right there. And then you've got moisture apparently from the Gulf. I don't think it's coming from the Percy Priest. And so you got all this moisture. And all over the South, any sporting events right now are having this problem, including our spring fling. And so with the very latest on all of that, our staff meteorologist, J.P. Plant.
There you go, staff meteorologist, and we read scores too. So, yes.
Which one are you better at?
Talk to me after this. All right. Games from yesterday afternoon. Baseball. We'll start Class 3A. Tennessee fell to Tullahoma 3-1. Your final there. Eagleville shutting out Bradford 11-0. It was Good Pasture 18-1 over Silverdale. That was in Division II Single A. Class 4A, Collierville 6-4 winners over Riverdale. 2A baseball, Watertown 1-0 over Loudon. And 1A, it was Peabody 4-0 over Gordonsville. In 4A at Siegel, Stewart's Creek defeated Centennial yesterday 7-0. Upperman over Munford 5-1 in a 3A tilt. In 2A, Pigeon Forge 8-6 over White House Heritage. And in Division II, 2A, Knox Catholic over Lipscomb Academy 3-0 yesterday. Soccer action from the Spring Fling in Class 2A. Page over South Gibson. It was Red Bank 2-1 over Austin East. In 3A, girls softball, Lincoln County defeats Brighton 4-3. Also 3A softball from McKnight Park, Lexington 3-2 winners over Saudi Daisy. In 3A softball, Hardin County 3-2 over Dyer County. And also 3A, it was Gibbs 3-0 over Tennessee. Single A in softball, it was Oliver Springs 22-2 over Peabody. Huntland 6-1 over Gordonsville. Eagleville defeats Joe Burns 2-1, and Dresden 5-3 over Harriman. Also soccer yesterday afternoon in AA, Greenville 5-0 over Crockett County, and Valor College Prep 2-1 over Saudi Daisy. Back to softball from last evening. 4A action, Wilson Central 7-5 over Summit. Clarksville 9-4 over Daniel Boone. It was Springfield 4-1 over Coffee County. That also in 4A softball, and Farragut 3-0 over Stewart's Creek. 2A softball from Starplex last night. Community shutting out Summertown 2-0. Alcoa 4-3 over Riverside. Adamsville 9-8 over Loretto, and Forest 5-2 over Meigs County. 3A baseball last night. Covington 3-1 over Montgomery Central. In Division 2A baseball, Franklin Grace 6-2 over North Point Christian. 2A baseball, Loretto over Adamsville last night, 7-5. And in 1A, it was McKenzie 10-3 over University School of Jackson. In baseball 4A, Houston 2-0 over Powell last night. In 3A baseball, South Gibson 12-2 over Sullivan East. Forest 1-0 over Riverdale in 2A. Macaulay 3-2 in Division 2A. That over Baylor last night. Brentwood defeats Shelbyville in soccer last night in 3A. And Collierville over Knox West in soccer there. Other 3A action last night. Oakland 1-0 over Houston, and Bearden 4-1 over Franklin. Looking ahead to today, this morning we had boys tennis. It was Merrill Hyde over Gatlinburg Pittman in the Class A team action. Lausanne 4-3 over USJ in Division 2A team. Also Division 2A, Macaulay over MUS, sweeping that one 4-0. Baseball this morning, it was Tennessee over Montgomery Central 6-4 in 3A action. Coalfield defeats Lookout Valley 7-5 in 1A. And it is Silverdale and North Point Christian. They were scheduled to play at 10 this morning. Farragut did defeat Hendersonville 8-7 this morning in 4A baseball. In 2A baseball, Loudon over Adamsville 11-7. Gordonsville and University School of Jackson were scheduled to play at Rockvale this morning. No score there. At Siegel in 4A action this morning, Powell over Centennial. Mumford scheduled to take on Sullivan East today. White House Heritage and Riverside as well. Other finals from earlier today, Lipscomb Academy Division 2A over Baylor 3-2. Girls softball from earlier today, Gordonsville defeated Peabody. Joe Burns over Harriman. Huntland over Oliver Springs. Eagleville defeats Dresden 1-0. Saudi Daisy 6-0 over Brighton. Continuing on in girls softball, Dyer County 4-2 over Tennessee. Lexington defeated Lincoln County 11-0. And Hardin County over Gibbs 12-9. So that is all the finals that we have at this point. George, I'm sure at some point throughout the rest of this show we'll get some more schedules, and we're going to talk to some people about those as well.
Okay, hold on a second.
Yes.
Could you not come up with more scores?
I tried real hard, George.
Good Lord.
You need more?
How many did you actually?
I don't know, and that was just from 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, so that didn't include the first half of the day yesterday.
Yeah, I noticed a 22-2.
22-2.
Yeah, I bet that was fun.
Yeah, that's always interesting. So,
okay.
Yep.
Good job.
Right.
Work on the weather.
Work on the weather. Okay.
Work on the weather. That's going to be very important.
That trough is the key.
It's a loft.
It's a loft, not a trough.
Well, no, it's a trough aloft.
A trough
now,
aloft.
What does that mean? Heck if I know. I just know they all use that thing. In the Weather Channel, they're loving it right now because they get to do their tornado meter, and here's the green stuff, and then red, and it's absolutely insane.
Oh, man.
Okay, after the break, Brady Mack will join us. We'll find out where he is. Let me tell you up front, at Main Street Media, we have got an army of reporters. You'll hear from a bunch of them today. So if that floats your boat, stick around. Our coverage of Spring Fling 2022 continues on Main Street Media.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
We are back. Let's see what time it is. My little phone says 2:17. That'll work. Let's check in with Brady Mack. He's one of a bunch of reporters out in the field for Spring Fling. Brady, where are you?
Hey, George. I'm currently at the Starplex in Murfreesboro catching Clarksville Hyatt versus Wilson Central softball.
Okay, first of all, for people who have never been to this event, describe the facility where you're watching.
So it is something special, man. I mean, they got 4 fields. Maybe, it actually might be 5 fields. Honestly, I haven't walked around the whole thing yet, but all kind of in a circle. All home plates kind of pointing inwards with a big building in the middle with some press boxes, bathrooms, nice concession stands, and a nice little playground for the kids who get tired of watching the sports that they don't totally understand.
Oh, I like that. So tell us what you are covering right now.
Yeah, so currently Clarksville softball facing off against Wilson Central with a chance to go into tomorrow's game unscathed with a chance to get to that championship game coming up on Friday. Clarksville currently leads at 5-2 in the 5th inning.
Tell me a little bit more. How have they gotten the lead?
Yeah, so I missed part of this game. I missed about the first 3.5 or so innings because I was at Montgomery Central's baseball game. But when I got here, it was 2-1 Wilson Central. But shortly after I got here, Clarksville's Abby Chappelle, their catcher, hit a 3-run home run. And they've added on a couple other runs since then. So that big 3-run home run is the difference so far.
Brady, I have never gotten to cover this the way you have. I hear fans in the background. Decent crowd?
Yeah, very good crowd. And like I said, there's a lot of fields with games going on all over the place. So you're hearing crowds from my game, the game next to me. There's a lot going on. It's a fun environment.
Is this fun to cover?
It definitely is. It can be tiring. I'll admit that, but it is very fun. You know, you got all these great teams playing because, of course, you're only going to have great teams at this point in the season. So you get to see a lot of good softball, baseball, soccer games, whatever sport you go to see. You know you'll get some good stuff.
Brady Mack is on the line with us covering the 2022 Spring Fling. Brady, I had Billy Derrick on a little while ago from the SEC baseball deal in Birmingham, and obviously they're juggling a lot of balls as they try to figure out when the weather moves in, when it doesn't. How concerned is the TSSAA, and are they under any real time constraints of we got to get it in by X?
Well, there has definitely been weather here, and there have been games moved back. So there are chances that teams could play up to 3 games tomorrow. I think having Saturday open kind of gives them a little bit of wiggle room. I think they'd prefer to have the whole show wrapped up by Friday. But if it absolutely comes down to it, they can push things back to Saturday.
And so that contingency plan is out there, and there's obviously not a television factor where you've got to get it done by a certain date, so you got a selection show like the SEC has. Brady, what else will you be covering today? Because it seems to me you've had an easy day. We got to send you to about 18 other places.
Yeah, I think that's just the start of it, really. But yeah. So like I said, I was at Montgomery Central's baseball game earlier. They were playing Tennessee High out of Gray, Tennessee. I couldn't tell you where that is, but they have a pretty good baseball team. That game was at Blackman High School.
Tennessee High's in Brady. Tennessee High's up in Bristol.
Oh, it is in Bristol.
I think that's right.
Gray. That's Daniel Boone, I want to say. That's a team that Clarksville played yesterday in softball. But Bristol, Tennessee. Thank you, George, for correcting me there. So I was
Brady,
at that game earlier.
Brady, it's the only thing I will know today.
Hey, as long as you know one thing, right?
Exactly.
But I was at that game. Montgomery Central lost that game 6-4 to Tennessee High. The Vikings out of Bristol, Tennessee, ending Montgomery Central season. But you know they had a pretty good season, getting to state tournaments. They proved that they belong here, something that some people might have doubted. Having 2 really close games against some pretty good teams.
So, in softball. Here comes another in a series of stupid questions, but you're used to it. Is it basically the same pitcher for every game?
It depends on the team, but if we're talking Clarksville softball, absolutely. Yeah, they have Emberly Nichols. She's a senior for the team. She's committed to play at Austin Peay State University, so staying in Clarksville for her college career. Yeah, she'll throw as many games in a row as they need her to. They have a couple of backup or contingency pitchers, if you will, but for teams like Clarksville where you have one really good pitcher who's got that stamina, yeah, they'll throw as many games that they need to.
So there's really not, like on the major league level, pitch limits. You don't want a starting pitcher on the big league level to go over about 120 pitches. In softball, all that goes out the window?
For the most part, yeah. I've seen Nichols, who I just mentioned, I've seen her throw 130 and more. So I don't know how they do it with their stamina, how their shoulder doesn't fall off, but hey, these are athletes, man.
Well, if somebody's shoulder falls off, feel free to call and report that to us. Brady, good work as always.
Thank you, George. Good to talk to you.
Brady Mack reporting from a softball field near you. JP, have you ever covered the event, any of these events?
I have had the fortune, George, with Mo and Chris as well, a couple of times, and then a prior profession. It is fascinating to go through, to go to these high schools for baseball, to go to that Starplex and multiplex where the softball is, because it's everywhere. And you hear, it's kind of neat to hear a game and some runs being scored late on an opposite field, and it just, the energy at the complex is pretty impressive. So it's a really unique thing.
I like
no question.
Okay,
no question.
So that's our first reporter of the day. After the break, Blaine Keller will join us. You're listening and watching. I got to get used to all this. Watching our coverage of the 2022 Spring Fling from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. This is Main Street Media.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Founded in 2005, Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, has a reputation of consistently offering the lowest possible rates and, above all, providing outstanding customer service. Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, takes pride in treating our clients with honesty and integrity. We provide excellent service and experience you can trust for all your mortgage needs, proudly serving all of Tennessee. Apply today. Call Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, 858-518-1506, or online at www.firstlendingonline.com.
NMLS number 314276, ID 135932. It's your last chance to get a spring tune-up for summer. Complete Service Heat and Air can clean your coils, check out your motor, and make sure you have cold air on that first hot day of summer. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air the right way. 24/7 service. Call us at 615-797-3997. That's 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee sports editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama, so the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
We are back at 2:28. Let me give you a scoreboard update real quickly from the SEC baseball tournament. Kentucky, which is the 12 seed, is leading Auburn 1-0. They're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Kentucky is throwing their ace, a right-hander, Sean Harney, and at least so far, that's been good enough. Kentucky had a very poor year. Auburn's ranked 24th in the country, so this would be a mild upset. And if you didn't hear at the very beginning, it looks like the Tennessee-Vanderbilt game is not going to happen tonight with all the weather and the problems they've had down in the Birmingham area. But enough of that. We got our own weather here in Murfreesboro. Blaine Keller joins us. He's the second of our reporters that we'll rely on today. Blaine, where are you?
Right now, I am at the Starplex, right next to Montgomery County reporter Brady McAtamney, covering Springfield and Farragut in a 1-1 ball game between the two 4A. I guess you'd call them the favorites, George.
Yeah, so talk to me a little bit about what you've seen so far.
Well, you know, this game has been scoreless up until the 4th inning, and Farragut got a couple of singles there in the top of the 4th to take a 1-0 lead, and Trevecca signee Sarah Nicholson launched the ball to left field in the bottom half of the 4th to tie this game at 1-1. Springfield with runners at the corners and a chance to go ahead and take a lead here.
So, Blaine, help me with this. Obviously, this is a high level of high school softball. How many of these kids have got scholarships, whether it's D1 or whatever? Is it a bunch of them?
Well, yeah, I think so. When you look over at the field next to us, the game that Brady McIntyre is covering, Clarksville and Wilson Central. Keely Pitzer's a Louisiana signee. And on the other side, Clarksville pitcher Emberly Nichols is an Austin Peay's commit. For Springfield and Farragut, pitcher for Farragut, Avery Flatford, a Tennessee Tech signee. You've got two Trevecca signees in Springfield with Bree Asmondi and Sharon Nicholson, and then Gracie Lance also signed to Modlo State Community College. So a lot of college flavor here in Murfreesboro as well.
Okay. With each of the reporters, I asked something stupid. Here comes yours. You ready?
I'm ready.
Is Tennessee considered a hotbed of high school softball?
You know, I would say so. I don't know the landscape of high school softball across the land, but I mean, when you look at the talent every year, there's definitely at least some mid-major, if not Power 5 prospects that churn out of the mid-state every year.
That is great to hear. So kind of tell me a little bit about what else that you've covered today and what your schedule looks like for the rest of the day, because I want you working till midnight.
Well, I was working till midnight last night, and I plan to be doing it again, George.
Congratulations.
This morning I was at Joe Burns and Harriman softball in an elimination game in the Class 1A state tournament. Joe Burns making his first ever trip to the state tournament and came away with a 9-5 win in the elimination round to advance later today where they play Oliver Springs. Pretty interesting game. Joe Burns led 9-3 in the bottom of the seventh. That's when we got that steady rain coming into Murfreesboro, but the umps let them play. They played on through at McKnight Park, and 45 pitches later, Harriman has the go-ahead run on deck and the tying run at the plate. But freshman Kalia Lucas induces a ground ball and finds a way to get out of it. I mean, it was a pretty interesting game for the score that it was, and it marked the first state tournament win in Joe Burns history.
Okay, more dumb questions. What else will you cover today?
As for tonight, we're looking at White House Heritage Baseball. They downed Riverside 9-3 in an elimination game in the 2A bracket. They'll face the loser of Pigeon Forge and Forest, which should be going on right now. Not sure if I'll do that or if I'll go to Joe Burns again. Kind of depending on how this rain shapes out. I think I heard it'll come back in at 7, but I checked this morning and it seemed like it wasn't going to be in. And as I arrived at the park, it seemed like it was inbound.
You want me to help you with that because I am a staff meteorologist.
No, I would love that, George. I would love that.
7 p.m., I think they think it's going to rain because they put the number at 100%. That means it's going to rain. And
I'm not a betting man, but I put money on that meaning rain.
Yeah, and they've got that rain through as far as my little gizmo will take me through 1 p.m. tomorrow. So guess what? It's going to rain.
Yep. Yeah, that's certainly what it sounds like. You wish it would have been clear skies like it was last year. I mean, it was a pretty pleasant spring fling last spring, but I guess we had some clear skies during the region tournament this year instead.
Man, you're doing a great job. I know it's fun, but I also know at the end of the day that you're worn out. So thank you for taking the time to come on with us.
Thanks, George. Appreciate it.
Blaine Keller reporting from a softball field near you. You've been over there, huh?
I have it, and you can hear the noise.
Oh yeah,
it's a unique setting over there, and certainly a lot of fun to be a part of that. Sure.
What else you got over
there?
Well,
I was going to do a little update on what we've got schedule wise for today, because I stopped off with just scores from yesterday and through this morning.
Do we get music?
We do. We do get
so
music.
special.
So since you asked for it, George.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let me find where we were this morning.
I want Journey.
Journey? Yeah, we'll work on that. Yes. We'll send the rights feed to George Plaster.
You do that.
For that. Coming up, let's see, what time is it right now? It is 2:35. So We'll start with some 2 o'clock start times scheduled for today. Again, of course, everything at things like this, George, is depending on schedule, right? TBA, yep. So we've got 2 o'clock soccer match scheduled for Father Ryan Christian Brothers in Division 2A. Also, Division 2A, McCauley and Baylor. Those are at 2 o'clock. At 3 o'clock in baseball, out at Oakland, Riverdale, interesting playing at Oakland, is taking on Hendersonville in the Class 4A, I believe, pool play there. Soccer at 4 o'clock, you got Madison Magnet and STEM Prep Academy in Class A. Also Class A, Merrill Hyde and Gatlinburg Pittman. Girls softball scheduled for 4 o'clock this afternoon, Lake Wake Christian versus DCA in Division 2A. Also Division 2A, Columbia Academy, Jackson Christian, and Tipton Rosemark GPS, as well as Baylor and Chattanooga Christian. Also at 4 in 1A, Dresden and Gordonsville, Oliver Springs, Joe Burns. 3A softball at 4, Gibbs and Soddy Daisy, Lincoln County and Dyer County. Soccer at 4:30, you've got Class 2A, Page and Red Bank, Greenville and Valor College Prep. And then we get into some baseball games that those schedules will be determined on who wins currently playing.
Can you not come up with more games?
I'll keep working on that for you, George. Keep working, yeah.
That and staff meteorology.
That's right.
Okay,
Yep.
After the break, we're going to have some fun. Maurice Patton is going to join us, the Hall of Famer. But even more important than that, a diehard Atlanta Braves fan. Big comeback win last night. They almost gagged it late, but then they got bailed out and beat the Phillies 6-5. My guess is Mo and I will start our conversation with that when we come back. What does that have to do with our coverage of Spring Fling? Absolutely nothing, but you will hear it and more on Main Street Media.
My name's Kathy, and here I am about a year after I got seriously hurt in a tractor-trailer wreck. All I can say is thank goodness for my mom, because she called attorney Bart Durham, and that was one of the greatest gifts she ever gave me. Bart sure knows tractor-trailer cases. I guess that's why Bart Durham gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
You let us take your case, and we'll take over all the work.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to put our experience to work for you. Give us a call at 242-9000.
Thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you.
As a two-term county commissioner, we built the County Justice Center and the Burns Middle School, all while maintaining a budget surplus. We were able to secure additional funding for all of the volunteer fire departments to get the vital equipment that they need to do their job. I fought on the front lines in Iraq. With your vote, I'll fight on the front lines in our community to give you a voice. Let's do this together.
Paid for by Jeff Eby for State Representative, District 69.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Lee Realty Group has officially teamed up with Keller Williams. Lee Realty is still locally owned and operated, but now associated with one of the biggest real estate companies in the world. If you're ready to get your home on the market but don't know where to start, call the Keller Williams Lee Realty Group in Dixon, Tennessee. Let experienced agents help you with your real estate needs. Call us today at 615-446-2006. We service all of Middle Tennessee. Visit our Facebook page at Keller Williams Lee Realty.
State Farm Micah Blunt Agency is proud to bring you coverage from the 2022 Spring Fling. Micah was born and raised in Tennessee and takes pride in providing the highest degree of protection for all customers. State Farm offers auto, home, and life insurance at the price you can afford. Located in Dixon, Tennessee, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Give Micah and his team a call today to help with all of your insurance needs. Serving all of Tennessee, call 615-229-2999. That's 615-229-2999.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee sports editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
Other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama. So other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
We are back at 2:42. This is our continuing coverage of the 2022 Spring Fling from Murfreesboro. George Plaster filling in for Chris Yao and Maurice Patton. They're out in the field working their fannies off. This just in, I'm not. It's true. Let's bring Maurice Patton to our microphone, so to speak. Mo, how are you?
I'm doing okay, George. I'm gonna have to make it a short one because just as JP was bringing me on, Katie Beth Gallagher was hitting a sack fly to deep left to give Summertown an 11-1 5-inning victory over Riverside in a Class 2A elimination game here. So I'm probably going to need to do some post-game interviews here in just a second, but I got a couple minutes. So
okay, let's get to the important issues of the day. The Braves had a comeback win.
That is important. Got a little help from the Philadelphia defense, but we'll certainly take it. Yeah. Big ninth inning last night. Kenley Jansen with another BS/W in the box score there. So that's always fun.
Oh, I know what that is. So did you see that Jock Peterson went yard 3 different times last night?
Nothing Jock Peterson does surprises me, man. I really wish he was still in Atlanta, but we couldn't keep all those guys. But
yeah.
He's something else, man. He really is.
Okay, you want one more that you have no idea is coming?
Talk to me.
So apparently, this is through CBS Sports, UT Martin has a senior quarterback named Dresser Wynn, and he appears to be the first scholar athlete that has done an NIL deal through a political campaign. Apparently, he is putting in his support for a local district attorney candidate, Colin Johnson, on social media. How about that?
Lord. That's certainly different. That's different, but I mean, hey, if Colin thinks that Dresser can help elevate his visibility, then hey, more power to him. And if Dresser can get paid, I'm all about that. So,
Okay,
that's pretty crazy.
Take me through this, because your opinion is one that matters, because you have covered all these kids that end up, going to the college level and getting the NIL deals. I'm like you. There's a way to pay these kids, but it doesn't seem like this is the right way to do it. What do you think?
I would agree with that. I think the NIL is going to need tweaking. I think the transfer portal needs tweaking. I think I don't want to say it's gone too far in the kids' favor, but it's not. There needs to be some guidelines. There needs to be some regulations for what's going on, I think. But I think where we are is definitely better from a player standpoint than where we were.
Okay,
And
tell me.
It needed.
Because
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, tell me. I'm not with you. How much time have you got?
About a minute.
Okay. Tell me what all you'll be covering later today.
I will be covering Columbia Academy softball in the Division 2A semifinals. They take on Jackson Christian, supposedly at 4. I'm not sure if that'll actually be the case or not. And from there, I'm not sure what I'll be doing because I don't know what the schedule's going to do.
Yeah.
Gotta be real flexible with this thing.
Right, and the other thing is 100% chance of rain starting around 7.
Just ignore it and it'll go away.
Yeah, sure it will. Mo, you're a good man to put up with this. Appreciate your allowing me a few minutes to share with you. We'll do it again soon.
I appreciate you guys having me. We'll talk to you later.
Maurice Patton, not only a Hall of Fame writer, but a Hall of Fame good guy. Been a friend for a long time. It's always fun to get a chance to talk to him. So we all talk about this, JP. I'm reading this thing. This is what this young quarterback at UT Martin put out there. Thank you to lifelong supporter and candidate for District Attorney General for the 27th Judicial District of Tennessee, Colin Johnson, for coming to my camp this weekend. Elections are in August, so make sure you are registered to vote.
Yeah, that is a new one. But it was going to go this way, right? I mean, it's when everything is completely wide open. It's whatever people are willing to think about and to do, because who's going to slow this down? I mean, there's really nobody that is overseeing this, and I don't know if there ever will be.
But you would hope, I think, this is just me.
Yeah.
What I would hope for is that there are a group of what I would call leaders in college athletics, and I'm thinking of C.M. Newton types. Okay, I'm a little biased, so that's the name I'll throw out there. That you get 8 to 10 C.M. Newton types who really want what's best, quote, for the game. And you get them together for a weekend in,
Destin, why not, right?
Yeah, it's not going to be in Jersey. Okay,
No.
It's not going to be in New Jersey. It's probably not going to be in Iowa.
Yeah.
Although, why have I picked out those two states? I have no idea.
Nothing against Iowa.
But my point is, get them together for a weekend and say, okay, make some recommendations where we can go to the Supreme Court and say, listen, you need to rethink what's been opened up here because you've opened up a can of worms that we can't control.
Yeah, I agree with you. Somebody somewhere is going to have to figure out how to somewhat, and I use the word legislate loosely, very loosely, and the proverbial air quotes. But there have to be some guidelines at some point. Anytime there is this new world or the wild west of
the new world order.
Yeah, the new world order. And, we're all kind of feeling this out, and the beauty of today with social media and 24/7 media, we see it on a minute-by-minute basis, right? So we're seeing it happen, and it feels like it's a lot faster than probably it is. But, yeah, eventually somebody's going to have to kind of legislate it. Again, that's the term that I think that I just keep coming back to. But and I think they'll eventually find that somebody.
Sure.
That is the question: is who, though? Who is going to take the charge to get that group that you're talking about? Is it the NCAA? Is it the people in Washington to set actual laws about this? I mean, and then you got to deal with each state by state, because that's how this began, right? I mean, it was.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem is you've got one set of rules in one state, another set in another, and it is totally the wild, wild west.
Yes.
And what's sad is these kids don't start out looking as greedy as all this looks now.
Yeah.
They have spring flings in whatever state they may be in. And, the reporters that we've got out there will tell you they really enjoy, dealing with these kids. But I'm waiting for one of them to essentially say to one of our reporters, I'll be in school for 4 years because I can't take a pay cut.
Yeah. I mean, and you're right. It's what they're going to grow up knowing, that it's the norm, right? To expect to get something to play.
Yeah.
At almost at any level, right? Just how creative can you be? So I think that is something to think about, and certainly, for those of us that have been around for a little bit, are a little concerned about it. I mean, I think it's good that these college athletes are finally getting a little due justice, so to speak. And I guess that's kind of the hallmark on this country, right? Just kind of a free market. And
yeah, but the free market in this setup is haywire. Because it looks to me like here's what's happening. Mama, let your babies grow up to be quarterbacks. Because the quarterbacks are the ones getting paid.
Yep.
They're the ones making all the money. And
don't have to be great, just be a quarterback.
Just be a quarterback. And there's going to be a setting in a national TV game where the quarterback stinks and the offensive lineman who's working his fanny off and getting nothing is going to go after the quarterback and say, you're not earning your keep.
Oh, there's no question. It's going to infect locker rooms all across the country. In multiple sports, there's no question.
I'd be a lot more for this if we had almost a salary cap that says, okay, each kid on that University of Miami football team will get $5,600, whether they're the star, whether they're not the star, but they're a part of Miami's football team.
Yeah.
This thing is totally out of control.
I think a salary cap is probably where we're headed, and it kind of makes sense, at least in college football. The other sports, those are kind of get what you can get, but yeah, I mean, it's in college football is such it's its own thing, right? It's its own thing. So
here's the area that ought to be of real concern. Yeah. Right now, this is just one person's opinion. What's it worth? Bottled water. I don't think the coaches on the college level are having nearly as much fun as the coaches on this level.
You're probably right. Yeah.
They're dealing with headaches they never dreamed they'd get into.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them are looking around going, am I really going to babysit for the next 10, 15 years?
Yeah.
And I think they're looking at things like spring fling and going, yep, got to take a pay cut, but not nearly the headaches.
It's, it is a changing thing, and that you're right. I think there are a lot of coaches and people in that world that are thinking, what the future is like, and is it worth it? Unfortunately, because you're probably right. It's probably going to run some people out. Unfortunately, so
Mo missed out on such
yes,
riveting.
He did. Yes, and he has thoughts about these types of things.
Oh,
no
I know
question.
he does. I know he does.
Hey, I tell you what. How about You want me to run some more schedule and see what kind of scores we got from today?
Lay it on me.
All right.
Music.
We got a little time.
Music, please.
Music. He asks, he receives. We'll start with Wednesday scores. We'll start from this morning if you're just catching up with us as we are approaching the end of our first hour here on Main Street Sports today. Special edition live from Spring Fling. Here all week, George will be. All right, so this morning, boys tennis. It was Merrill Hyde sweeping Gatlinburg-Pittman in team competition 4-0. Lausanne 4-3 over USJ. McCallie 4-0 over MUS. Baseball this morning. Tennessee defeated Montgomery Central 6-4. It was Coalfield 7-5 over Lookout Valley. Baseball in Division 2A, North Point Christian 8-7 winners over Silverdale. 4A baseball, Farragut 8-7 over Hendersonville. In 2A baseball, Loudon 11-7 over Adamsville. 1A baseball, Gordonsville and University School of Jackson scheduled to play today. No score as of yet on that one. Out at Siegel earlier this morning, Powell defeated Centennial in 4A baseball. Mumford and Sullivan East scheduled to play. No score there. White House Heritage 9-3 over Riverside. Lipscomb Academy defeated Baylor 3-2. Girls softball action from this morning. Gordonsville over Peabody 18-7. Joe Burns defeated Harriman 9-5. Huntland shutting out Oliver Springs 9-0. Eagleville 1-0 over Dresden. Soddy Daisy 6-0 over Brighton. Dyer County over Tennessee 4-2. Lexington shutting out Lincoln County 11-0. Hardin County 12-9 winners over Gibbs. Baseball from later this morning. Bradford over Lookout Valley 7-1. Summertown defeated Riverside 11-1. In softball, we just heard from Mo, who was at the conclusion of that one. That one finished early, actually, in 5 innings. Summertown advances after losing last night. Loretto defeats Mex County. They advance, the 2 county rivals there. Advancing. Community Alcoa, no score from an 11:30 scheduled start. Same for Adamsville and Forest. Daniel Boone defeating Summit in 4A action, 9-6 the final there. Other games scheduled for the second wave of softball from this morning are roughly 11:30 start times for these. Coffee County, Stewarts Creek, Wilson Central, Clarksville, Springfield, and Farragut. Boys tennis from later midday today. Collierville, that one just going final not too long ago. 4-1 winners over Ravenwood in the 2A team competition. Also at the Adams Tennis Complex, St. George's is taking on USJ. Baylor and Knox Catholic also playing. It's 12:30 scheduled start. Tullahoma, Covington in baseball. Eagleville, Coalfield, Good Pasture, Franklin Grace, Watertown, Loretto, Peabody, McKenzie, Stewarts Creek, Houston, Upperman, South Gibson, Pigeon Forge, Forest, Knox Catholic, McCallie. All of those baseball starts at 12:30. And many of those should be hopefully getting close to conclusion, as some of these also will have to play later on this evening, George. So you get this double elimination, then you get to a lot of games in a short amount of time.
Okay, do I get the music for a score?
You want one?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me give you a special music
with,
here. You go.
Elton John.
Elton John, yeah.
Doesn't seem like Elton's coming on. Kentucky.
Rocket this.
Thank you. Kentucky, which is a 12 seed, is leading Auburn 1-0, top of the 8th inning, SEC baseball tournament in Hoover, which is a suburb of Birmingham. They just put this on the screen. I looked at it and cheated. This would be the first time a 12 seed has won since they reconfigured the format about 8-9 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So this would be big stuff for Kentucky. They've got a really good pitcher, Sean Harney, who has a shutout through 7, and that's where we are in Birmingham. The likelihood that Tennessee and Vanderbilt play tonight, very, very shaky with the weather that's going on down there. After the break, my buddy Zach Womble will join us. This is our continuing coverage of the 2022 Spring Fling from Murfreesboro, Tennessee on Main Street Media.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Main Street Sports Today, live from Spring Fling 2022, is brought to you in part by Complete Service Heat and Air, Keller Williams Lee Realty, First Lending Solutions, and Pamela Witt. State Farm, Micah Blunt Agency. Jeff Eby for State Representative. Riverside Golf Links. Jody Jones, DDS. And by Bart Durham Injury Law. Broadcasting live from the campus of Middle Tennessee State University, filling in for Mo and Chris, here's George Plaster.
That's me, and we welcome all of you into hour number 2 of our coverage today. Want to thank the folks at MTSU, Chris Massaro, the athletic director. We've gotten Mark Owens, the sports information director. They have provided us our broadcast location from the Hall of Fame building, a beautiful facility that really has done justice to the great things that have gone on in MTSU athletics. Spring Fling going on in the Murfreesboro area. Nobody better to talk about it than my buddy Zach Womble. Zach, how are you and where are you?
Doing fantastic, George. You know what? The weather got to us earlier today over at Oakland High School where Commandos are stationed. We thought we were going to have to play 3 games today, but the TSSAA is going to do could do the Commandos. I guess they got to take care of Riverdale first over here at Oakland High School in a game that's starting right now. But you know what? If originally the Commandos would have won today, they would have had to play again at 5, which would have been 3 baseball games in one day. But with the weather coming in earlier today, postponing the game that's starting now that was at 12 to 3. They've moved the 5 o'clock game to 10 a.m. tomorrow. So over here, like I said, at Oakland, between Riverdale and Hendersonville, in a loser-go-home baseball game, and it should be an exciting one.
Let me see if I got this right. Is Riverdale the home team at Oakland?
I mean, essentially, yeah. I mean, we're in Murfreesboro, so they are the home team.
Wow, I didn't think they spoke to each other.
Well, okay, so I get what you're saying. I mean, no one at Oakland. I mean, I guess they're being as accommodating as they can be.
Hospitality.
Out of their way. Yeah, no one's going out of their way to roll out the red carpet. But, I mean, it is the state tournament, so I bet you if you asked a couple Oakland people off the record or anonymously if they were rooting for Riverdale to maybe keep it in the city, they might say yes. But there could be some of them that say heck no. They want Riverdale to come in dead last. So
I'd say that number is over 90%.
Yeah, you're probably right. But yeah, I mean, you know what? Hendersonville's going to throw their lefty sophomore stud Lake Morris today, and you know what? It's a win or go home. Like I mentioned, they lost a heartbreaker to Farragut High School. You know, that game went off last night, started last night, then it got delayed to this morning at 10 a.m. due to rain, and so you wonder how that affected the Commandos because, you know, Farragut, while they're from East Tennessee, so they just had to go to their hotel right up the road. But Hendersonville, they drove home. You know, they get home at 11 p.m., 11:30, go to sleep. You got to wake up, be probably at the ballpark at 7 to bus up to Murfreesboro to get there by 8:30, take the field, get warmed up and ready for your game. And you know what? Farragut used the long ball to beat Hendersonville. They hit 2 solo jacks plus a grand slam to score 6 runs off of the long ball. But again, like I said, Hendersonville's got a chance to make up for it, get the win, and you know, try to get to tomorrow.
So Zach, I'm sitting here thinking, what does that make pregame meal? 4:30 in the morning?
Yeah, exactly. A pregame meal is a couple granola bars on the bus, or a couple granola bars here and there, some fruit punch, you know, straws or whatever it may be to get you going. But yeah, I mean, there's no real pregame meal there if you're Hendersonville.
Okay. I have asked each of the reporters that you've helped me put together a dumb question. Here comes yours.
All right.
Who ultimately decides? I mean, we got rain all over the place. Got a 100% chance beginning tonight around 7 o'clock in the Nashville and Middle Tennessee, Murfreesboro area. Who ultimately makes the decisions on the moving stuff around?
I mean, it's got to be the TWSA. It's got to be Bernard Childress, Matthew Gillespie, and his board of people. Mark Reeves, obviously, who's coming in as executive director effective June 2nd. He's on the decision committee. So several of the board members are making the final call on when to move it, where to move it if need be, how to push it. And, you know, I know they're doing everything in their power to keep things on schedule, to not move into Saturday and Sunday, because let's be honest, you know, we've all got Memorial Day weekend plans, but so do they. You know, they have families as well, and they don't want to kind of impede on their own weekend plans. So they're doing everything they can to get it played on time. But you know what? Mother Nature is just this week is kind of perfectly encapsulating all that we're feeling with spring fling weather this entire season. It's just kind of kept us on our toes and pushed everything to the back burner and just made everything a grind. And I mean, the last week of the high school season should be that as well, I guess.
Well, the truth of it is we really haven't had spring. We've leaped into kind of summer weather a week ago. I guess this is about the closest we've had to spring weather. So if there's no weather problems, what else will you cover today?
Well, I'll be over here. Listen, you know, Mike Hendricks is in his last season coaching the Commando baseball team, and he's in year 38 over here at Hendersonville. And so I'm going to be with him every step of the way, this tournament run, and just kind of, you know, take it all in and be with him and just kind of see how it all goes. So, yeah, this is where I'm at.
Zach, take that a little bit farther, because what he is essentially a Mike Krzyzewski on the high school level. What has the kind of the, you know, going out party been like?
You know what? It's been weird. You know, during the season, he didn't really acknowledge it much. He didn't really take the time to kind of reflect on anything. But as the season went along, he did have a celebration night against Loretto, which was really nice to see, and to have all his old players, family had come and celebrate him, and just seeing a big smile on his face was a lot of fun. And you know, I told you guys yesterday, Mike is he's not a pessimistic person by any means, but he's always looking to get better. And that's how he's been his entire coaching career. And even in like a 15-0 win, he's always looking at the small details of how his team can get better. But as the season has kind of wore on, and especially now in the postseason, everything's kind of been gravy for him, and everything's been icing on the cake. And so it's been really nice to kind of see him in that light, being just so loose and carefree and just happy. He can't thank the guys enough on the team for getting him to this point. And while he was disappointed to lose that game earlier today, like I just said, everything is gravy for him at this point. Everything is icing on the cake. He joked to me that they made a dream come true getting to the state tournament. And he said, I don't know what else you could ask for. I said, well, I guess you could ask to win it all. And he said, I tell you what, if we win it all, I'm stripping naked and run across that field. So, that'll be interesting to see if they're the last team standing, if he comes through with what he said. But he's just having a good old time right now, George. Coach
retires, lands in jail.
Yeah,
nice headline.
Exactly right.
Hey,
that's exactly right. But you know what? If it happens, great. But if not, he can live with this last season. He can live with his career, which features 6 state tournament appearances, a couple runner-up and Final Four appearances. So, he just happened to play probably the state favorite Class 4A in Farragut in round 1. You get a tough Riverdale team in the second round, and if you beat Riverdale, you got to turn around and play the loser of Collierville-Farragut, and Collierville is probably the second favorite to win it all. So just a bad draw to get in that top part of the bracket, but like I said, everything's just kind of gravy at this point.
Zach, you were good to come on here. Great insight on Coach Hendricks. Pass on our congratulations to him, and we'll do this again tomorrow.
Sounds good, George. Thank you, sir. Y'all have a good one.
Zach Womble reporting from one of the sites of Spring Fling. By the way, if you don't think coaches make a difference, last night I got the chance. I was flipping around and trying to see where they were in the SEC baseball tournament. And obviously, they had rain problems. So they broke to one of these SEC story deals. And last night's was on Skip Burtman, the former LSU baseball coach. And I've got to tell you, it's one of the best things I have ever seen. And to watch the way his kids at LSU talked about his impact on them, it was incredible. It really was. Tyler Palmatier will join us after the break. We'll find out what he's doing and how his visit to the dentist turned out yesterday. This is riveting info you don't get anywhere but Main Street Media.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Lee Realty Group has officially teamed up with Keller Williams. Lee Realty is still locally owned and operated, but now associated with one of the biggest real estate companies in the world. If you're ready to get your home on the market but don't know where to start, call the Keller Williams Lee Realty Group in Dixon, Tennessee. Let experienced agents help you with your real estate needs. Call us today at 615-446-2006. We service all of Middle Tennessee. Visit our Facebook page at Keller Williams Lee Realty.
State Farm Micah Blunt Agency is proud to bring you coverage from the 2022 Spring Fling. Micah was born and raised in Tennessee and takes pride in providing the highest degree of protection for all customers. State Farm offers auto, home, and life insurance at the price you can afford. Located in Dixon, Tennessee, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Give Micah and his team a call today to help with all of your insurance needs. Serving all of Tennessee, call 615-229-2999. That's 615-229-2999.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee Sports Editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama. So the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
We are back. It's 3:15, and we're about to check out another one of our reporters at Main Street Media. One of the real stocks in trade is they have got more people out on the street covering high school athletics than you can shake a stick at. One of those is Tyler Palmatier, who joins us by phone. Tyler, let's get to the important issue of the day. You ready?
I'm ready.
How many cavities?
How many cavities?
That's kind of a joke. You know, we tried to call you yesterday, and you were in a dental chair, and that wasn't going to go over.
Right. Yeah. No, I was. It was actually no dental work, just doctor work.
Okay.
But I'm alive, and they expect me to live for some time. Sorry to disappoint.
What you should have said
out there, but I'm hanging around.
Tyler, what you should have said is, George, it's none of your damn business.
Yeah. Well, I'm an open guy. I'm an open book. You know, I mean, this is I've got nothing to hide.
Okay, let's talk a little Brentwood soccer, because I know that's a big area that you've been covering. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, Brentwood is got a shot here to get to the finals, and if I'm guessing, I would think that Bearden is going to be in that final. That's a really tough finish. You got to beat Collierville first, but with 20 wins, this kind of looks like one of those vintage Brentwood teams that Mike Purcell has had during his time there. And Mike is entering his 20th season, or he's in his 20th season, about to wrap it up, I guess. He's 71. Me and him had a great conversation earlier this year before at a game, and I wrote about him a little bit. Really interesting guy. You get the sense that you don't know if he's going to stick around much longer than this season. He's sort of been grooming a coaching staff that's going to he's passed off some assistant duties that have kind of, their assistant coach almost looks like the head coach at times. So, this looks like they're transitioning for maybe what's next. When that'll happen, I don't know, but it would be a great story for Mike Purcell to go out a state champion in perhaps his final year. The guy's led a big life. He lost his son tragically, about middle age, or, about midway through his tenure at Brentwood, I should say. He's gone through some things, and I think that job has really kept him in it. He loves kids, and so I think that's kind of a storyline to watch for them. Last night, Aiden Parker got 2 goals to help him beat Shelbyville, who hadn't been in a long time, and they were able to get a lot of rest in the second half, so that was big. Those players, obviously, they're part of the journey too. Reed McAdams is a senior midfielder for them, who's a really good leader. Those guys are really important. But the story about Coach Purcell is really interesting to watch too. You always love to see coaches go out on a high note if possible.
Okay, let's take that one a little farther, because you've hit the obvious storyline. And to me, it's that, hey, in the future, there aren't going to be a lot of these 20-year or Zach Womble covering a coach for 38 years. Those kind of things are not going to happen in the future. They just aren't. And so we better appreciate the longevity. With this particular story, do you think he knows the decision? Do you think he's made it?
don't know. We spoke a little bit earlier in the year, so that it was about maybe at least a month ago. So I don't know. I wonder what coaches think when they come into a what ultimately is their final postseason or whatever you want to call it, final season. I kind of think a lot of them have made up their minds, but in Mike's case, he spoke like it might be his last. I think if you win a state championship, that's a great way to it would be maybe help your decision along to just give it up on with a great finish. Good question, George. I don't know if he's decided or not. It's hard for me to say, but he spoke at length about his future, midway through the year. So it's on his mind. That much we know. And I guess we'll just have to see. It's like I said, Bearden's really good. Bearden beat Franklin last night 4-1, and Franklin's pretty good. That's not going to be an easy task. So either way, it'll be interesting to see how it finishes and what happens with Mike. And I think you're right to your point about it doesn't happen anymore. It seems like nobody stays in jobs for a long time anymore. And I don't know at the high school level if young coaches will hop around as we move forward in life, or if they'll tend to stick around for a long time. That's a really good point. I mean, I don't know if that'll happen or not at places. Doesn't seem to. So it is fun to appreciate people like that. And trust me, at the end of the day, they're really valuable to schools because they're around kids for a long time. I mean, there's culture that is ingrained in that. It's built really deeply. I mean, there were former players coming up to him last night. Everybody just calls him P for Coach P. Hey, P. Hey, P. I mean, he had like two guys when I was walking with him up, and they were like full-grown adults, and they're like, "Hey, P." So I mean, like they all, what he builds lasts, and that's at the end of the day, the truly like important thing.
That's the biggest scoreboard.
Yeah.
So tell me this, do you find in a lot of cases like this, because you've covered some coaches who maybe at the end of a season are mentally fried and honestly need to take about 2 to 3 weeks to sort of decompress and then make a decision?
Yeah, that could happen. I don't know that anybody's ready to just call it a career once the score goes final on that last game. You need a little cool off period. I think that's why it's just take a step back. I mean, you got the summer. Obviously, your bosses probably need a little bit of a heads up as they get into the next school season. And Mike is a teacher as well. He may be somebody that just wants to teach, or I assume he'll stick with he'll help the program still. He's got a lot of energy, and he's just smart as a whip. I think he'll do something in the program and at Brentwood, even in retirement. Almost in the way that Morgan Fitzgerald kind of is doing over at Hillsboro. Those guys, when they hang it up, they have a hard time fully detaching for a while, I would say. But as far as when that decision's made, I mean, that's a good guess. That's probably just Mike's personal call, and maybe depends on how much he's really been thinking about this, how hard of a decision it is. But he's at the retirement age, and if he's ready, maybe it won't take too long.
Do you find that the real tough part of it is not necessarily the games, but it's the relationship with kids?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big part of it. You don't get to, as somebody who's been, kids were really his lifeblood. When he lost his son, those kids said were kind of like therapy. And life was hard, but that attachment there for him is really deep. So that's definitely an aspect. I mean, you're just used to waking up and helping young people or seeing young people, and that's your job. It's like if you work at a pro shop at a golf course for years and years, you're used to going in there and opening it up. I mean, you're attached to it, and certainly with kids, it's even deeper than that. I bet that's harder than the games, but because I think the games are kind of a grind. But I will say, you get, as somebody who chases games around a lot, you kind of do get addicted to that schedule. I don't know how he'll get himself to sleep, because that takes a while. You kind of have a night mode mentality, and you're kind of used to being wired up at about 11 p.m. That might take some getting used to, but I think he'll miss probably definitely the kids the most.
This is great insight that Tyler Palmatier is giving us. Pass on our congratulations to Coach. Whatever decision he ends up making, I know will be the right one. Appreciate you taking the time to come on with us.
All right, you bet, George. Thanks for having me.
That's a very cool story. Tyler Palmatier sharing it. So we've heard about two coaches today, a 38-year veteran calling it quits, a 20 who sort of maybe is, maybe isn't. It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of those stories. You talk about the legacies that these coaches leave, and you're right. It's kind of a dying breed of people staying around for a long time just because of the nature of the way lifestyles are these days. But you're right. It's worth celebrating, and it's cool to see. What Tyler mentioned, that some grown men were going around and just once a coach-player relationship, that's always there,
yes.
right? And
absolutely.
And that's a cool thing to see, and to see those guys, because I'm sure several of them drove in a pretty good distance just to watch it because they want to support, the guy that meant so much to them.
In the thing that the SEC Network did last night on Skip Bertman, the legendary baseball coach at LSU.
Yeah.
They get a bunch of different reactions. What did Coach mean in your life?
Yeah.
And it was amazing. But the funniest part was they then at the end got each one of them to imitate him.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God. Sayings that were hilarious.
Did they have a camera on Coach when, of course,
no, and they should have.
That's always the most interesting part is when you see the coach react to somebody trying to impersonate them. So, yeah.
Okay, after the break, Russell Van Ozee is going to join us, and I'll give you a little sneak preview. He's going to talk to us about Grace Christian Baseball, which I know a little something about. Their head coach, Brad Myers, one of the best out there, period. How do I know? He left BGA to go to Grace Christian. So this is a talk I'm looking forward to.
Personal.
Yeah, it really is. It is. Brad's a dear friend. Anyway, this is our coverage kind of behind the scenes today in a lot of cases of the 2022 Spring Fling from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Our broadcast site is MTSU's Athletic Hall of Fame building, and we thank Chris Massaro and Mark Owens for setting all this up. Thanks to Main Street Media, we're on the air today, and thank you for being with us.
My name's Kathy, and here I am about a year after I got seriously hurt in a tractor-trailer wreck. All I can say is thank goodness for my mom, because she called attorney Bart Durham, and that was one of the greatest gifts she ever gave me. Bart sure knows tractor-trailer cases. I guess that's why Bart Durham gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
You let us take your case, and we'll take over all the work.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to put our experience to work for you. Give us a call at 242-9000.
When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links. Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you.
Hi, I'm Jeff Eby, and I'm running to be your state representative in District 69. I will provide leadership and a voice at the state level for our community. I've been an active leader in Dixon County for 25 years, and I've seen our district continue to experience change, but oftentimes your voice just isn't heard. That will change with my leadership.
Paid for by Jeff Eby for State Representative, District 69.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee sports editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best looking girl Bananarama, so the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
It is 3:30, and there is a story that has gotten out that is going to be one of the real headline stories that you're going to hear about in the next day or two. Colin Kaepernick apparently has a scheduled workout with the Vegas Raiders. How about that? I just assumed that door was shut, but apparently it may not be. Colin Kaepernick, a workout with the Raiders. Real quickly, when I look to the left, it's to see what's going on in the SEC baseball tournament. Auburn has tied Kentucky at 1-1 going to the top of the 9th inning. It looks like, although nobody's making it official, that the Tennessee-Vanderbilt game is not going to happen tonight with all the weather problems. More likely early in the morning, something like 9:30 in the morning Central Time. So let's just wait and see. Our buddy Russell Van Ozey has been covering a story that I pay a little bit of attention to, and that's Grace Christian Baseball. He's on the line with us. Russell, how are you?
Hey, George, doing pretty well. Just glad you're taking in this Good Pasture Grace Christian game right now.
Yeah, first of all, tell me what's going on in it.
All right, so Good Pasture is leading 3-0. They got a 3-run home run from Carson Rucker in the last inning. He was just named Mr. Baseball yesterday for Division II Single A. Really good player. Head to Tennessee. His older brother actually just played for Tennessee the last few years, Jake Rucker. He's in the Minnesota Twins organization now. So Good Pasture in a good spot here in the top of the 4th inning, and they're up to bat.
Now, Grace Christian is a fairly new school, and they lured my buddy Brad Myers, the head coach, from BGA to Grace Christian. This is a real leap for them, isn't it?
Oh yeah, they're having the best season so far in their program's history. I think they're 37-5 this year. They've played some good competition. They hit a lot of home runs too, although that's a little bit maybe inflated just because they played a small ballpark there at Leapers Fork. But no, yeah, Brad Myers has done a great job and really put Grace Christian on the map in the private school baseball scene here in the area.
Which is no surprise because having gotten to know him, I would describe him as a little bit of a high school Tim Corbin. And I guess what I mean by that is going to go to the ends of the earth to have his program be successful.
Well, that's high praise. I'm sure any high school coach would like that, but he's done a good job, and he's also brought in some familiar names too on his staff. Former MLB players Chase Headley and Matt Burton are both assistants, along with former White Sox pitching coach Don Cooper's been helping them out as well. So Brad does a great job. He's got just all kinds of baseball minds to pick too, and clearly that's been working out for them.
Is Chase out there today?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. After it's over, you tell him I said hello.
All right.
Chase.
I'll see if I can catch him.
Chase did a really solid for me back when I was at Belmont. I got Chase Headley and the late Chuck Merriweather, the Major League Baseball umpire, to do a banquet that we created, and they were terrific. Chase Headley, solid, had a big breakout year in San Diego where he hit over 30 home runs one season as a Padre. The guy knows his baseball, and You know, you think about that, Russell. That's got to get players' attention when you're being instructed by a former major leaguer.
Oh, certainly, yeah. I mean, it's not something to see a whole lot in the, in high school baseball. Of course, there's several. If you look over at football, we've got several former NFL players of some kind coaching high school football programs. And really have not seen that much on the baseball side. And last time I was out here at the Grace Christian game, I was talking to some of their players, and they were just, they love it. They try to be sponges and soak up as much as they can because they know that, those guys have been there before. They played at the highest level, and they have a lot of knowledge to pass on.
Okay, I can hear the wind in the background. Later, you're going to turn the wind into rain. Trust me, because I've looked at the forecast. But if there is no rain, what will you be covering tonight?
Well, this tournament, hopefully I'm just stepped behind a wall here, so hopefully that's a little better. But this tournament's about 2 hours behind right now. My plan had been to cover this game, see it to its conclusion, and then head over to track for the Division II track events that are going on at MTSU. It started at 4. It's already 3:45 now, so I'm not sure if I'm going to make it over there or not. I'm hoping to maybe catch the tail end of it still, but maybe we can move along a little bit in this baseball game, and we'll still get some track coverage in tonight.
Isn't that the beauty, though, of this, that all of you, because Main Street Media, I keep saying it, has an army of great reporters, and we've been able to sort of peek behind the curtain a little bit at what you all do. But isn't that part of this whole thing that you've got to kind of think on the fly, especially with the weather, where one story might be breaking and boom, I got to get over there. And isn't that part of the fun of it?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's always nice to have a plan ahead of time, but we'll kind of save that for the summer when, we're doing some more evergreen stories, or maybe the pace isn't quite as much. But yeah, weeks like this, you're looking for the top storylines, and hopefully you can get them in around the weather. But yeah, you're right. We've got a lot of help, and we've got a lot of great reporters and writers out, covering a variety of teams. So it feels a little hectic during the day, but then, last night I got home, I was working and looking at all the stories we produced, and at the end of the day, it ends up being a pretty good collection and good mix of things for people to check out.
It's a massive piece of coverage you all have put together. I was looking at some of it earlier, and I was like, wow. So over the next couple of days, give me some things that are on your mind that a person who hasn't paid the kind of attention you have maybe wouldn't know, but kind of share some storylines that'll be important to you.
Sure. Yeah. Well, tomorrow we're going to have the state championships for Division II baseball and Division II soccer and softball too. So those will be the first kind of major team championships handed out, and I mean both these teams here, Goodpasture and Grace Christian, have a good chance in baseball. I think a big headline from earlier today was Lipscomb Academy. You guys may have seen they upset Baylor, the 3-time defending state champion Baylor, in Division II AA baseball. So Lipscomb Academy is still kicking as of this afternoon. And on the other side, we're watching, soccer too. Grace Christian on the soccer side they're into the final there for Division II single A soccer, and then over at track and field we've got Raising Grimes tomorrow from Ravenwood. Tennessee Tech basketball signee. She's going for the record in a couple of the field events, trying to beat her record that she set last week. So keeping an eye on that as well. Those are a few of the things that come to mind off the top of my head.
Okay, let's go back to a story that you brought up. Baylor has almost been the Tampa Bay Lightning, three-peat kind of stuff. How did Lipscomb Academy pull this off?
Well, they've got an excellent senior pitcher named Willie Walton, and anybody that paid attention during basketball season probably remembers him. He was their main scorer that led Lipscomb to the Final Four in basketball, and it turns out he's just as good of a pitcher, if not better. And so they've kind of been ramping up his arm over the last couple months coming off basketball season. He's really hit his peak over the last 3 weeks or so. And I think this is maybe the second or third time he's pitched a complete game in the postseason. So he pitched a complete game today. I think he only allowed 4 or 5 hits. And they really needed that because yesterday they threw Miller Green, their top ace, and he ended up giving up a couple of runs, and they ended up losing 3-0 to Knoxville Catholic. So they were, they had to win that one this morning, and they were able to get, kind of that marquee win off the arm of Willie Walton.
Yeah, man, that's a terrific accomplishment, beating Baylor. Russell, appreciate as always you taking the time to come on, be with us. Great insights, and we'll do it again tomorrow.
All right, George. Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Russell Van Ozee reporting from somewhere out in the hinterlands of what is 2022 Spring Fling. Do we have sound effects that sound like a scoreboard update?
We can come up with something. How about this?
Oh, that's one of your go-tos, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got a handful. You heard a lot of these go-tos back Friday Night Live.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Once we flip the season, we'll get some new music for the upcoming year.
So here's the update.
Yeah.
Kentucky, I think I'm right, went back-to-back jack.
I think so. After Auburn had to hit a solo shot to tie it.
Yeah.
In the 8th.
So back-to-back homers has Kentucky with a 3-1 lead in the top of the 9th inning. They are a 12 seed. And in the new configuration several years ago that the SEC tournament had, a 12 supposedly has never beaten a 5. Well, that may be about to change. When we come back, Chris Yao will join us, and then we'll get Billy Derrick back in for about 2 or 3 minutes at the very end from down in Birmingham. So, plenty of coverage coming. 2022 Spring Fling in Murfreesboro through Main Street Media.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Founded in 2005, Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, has a reputation of consistently offering the lowest possible rates and, above all, providing outstanding customer service. Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, takes pride in treating our clients with honesty and integrity. We provide excellent service and experience you can trust for all your mortgage needs, proudly serving all of Tennessee. Apply today. Call Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, 858-518-1506, or online at www.firstlendingonline.com.
NMLS number 314276, ID 135932. It's your last chance to get a spring tune-up for summer. Complete Service Heat and Air can clean your coils, check out your motor, and make sure you have cold air on that first hot day of summer. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air the right way. 24/7 service. Call us at 615-797-3997. That's 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee Sports Editor, 3-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best looking girl in Bananarama, so the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
Main Street Sports Today, live from Spring Fling 2022, is brought to you in part by Complete Service Heat and Air, Keller Williams Lee Realty, First Lending Solutions, and Pamela Witt. State Farm, Micah Blunt Agency, Jeff Eby for State Representative, Riverside Golf Links, Jody Jones, DDS, and by Bart Durham Injury Law. Broadcasting live from the campus of Middle Tennessee State University, filling in for Mo and Chris, here's George Plaster.
Okay, here we go. Let's check in with one of the people that I'm filling in for, and that's Chris Yao, who is at a ball field near you. Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing great, George. I'm not exactly at a ball field. Was at the Adams Tennis Complex, where the Summertown Lady Eagles just took home the Class A state team tennis championships. So pretty big day for the Lady Eagles.
No kidding. So I don't know how much of it you got to see, but give me some thoughts on it.
Well, I got to see just a few, but Summertown won 4-0. They swept and pretty well dominated the entire match from start to finish. Ella Koenig and Libby Kinnick got the first 2 points. After that, it was pretty much a foregone conclusion. They'd win this thing, and they did pretty quickly. After that, it took about 10 minutes after I got here for them to win it. So great job out of the Lady Eagles. Congratulations to them, and we'll use this to, I guess, move into the singles and doubles tournaments the rest of the week, and likely that they will be in championship matches in that.
Okay, they sound pretty good. Chris, first of all, give me your college football note.
Listen, all I saw was a Dennis Dodd tweet that apparently USC boosters are now contemplating or thinking about a move to the Big Ten. Couldn't tell you anything more about it, but I thought that was an interesting note, and apparently it has taken college football Twitter by storm.
I have always thought that Southern Cal should be in the Big Ten. It just makes so much sense.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the geography-wise, it's just perfect.
I can just see the Rose Bowl now. Southern Cal versus Utah.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
By the way, did you see the story where the quarterback at UT Martin becomes the first name, image, likeness individual to endorse a political campaign?
I did not see that. From UT Martin?
Yep. How about that?
That's, well, the fact that, I guess the school doesn't have a lot to say about that, but boy, that is a head scratcher.
That one got me. Let's see how about if I told you Jock Peterson just went yard again?
There's that leadership we were talking about that we're missing, George.
This is his 4th home run since 5 o'clock yesterday when he had a sit down with Barry Bonds.
Oh,
how about that?
I guess that only makes sense, right?
I'd like to have been a fly on the wall for that.
Well, it's funny because Jock Peterson is one of those characters in Major League Baseball that you just really you look at and you go, this guy is someone you can market, right? Because he's a character. He's fun. He's enjoyable. We are those blanks. And, Barry was kind of that way too. So it's interesting that those two would have a conversation and it would lead to 4 dingers in less than 24 hours.
Yeah, it's crazy. Here's another one you may not have seen. Colin Kaepernick will work out for the Raiders.
That's great for him. I think it's positive for the Raiders. Look, Colin Kaepernick, when he left, was the guy who led the team to a Super Bowl. Now, say what you will about that. Brad Johnson and Trent Dilfer won Super Bowls too. But, Colin Kaepernick is, if he has the athletic ability, I don't see any reason why he shouldn't at least try to play, right?
Look, I'm all for it. I guess my biggest question with that is, it's now been 5 or 6 years. What level of rust are we talking about?
Yeah, that's the biggest question. It's always been the question, ever since he left. Even after 1 year, it was like, boy, you took a year off of professional football. How quickly can you regain the speed of the game and the timing that you need to play at that level? And he's not worked out with a lot of pro guys. He's worked out with I think he worked out with Michigan. He worked out with Terrell Owens at one time, but you're talking about the A.J. Browns of the world and the Devontae Smith speed guys. And on top of that, you can ask JP. We've had the conversation about the Las Vegas experience. Is Las Vegas really the place he needs to be?
Good question. Good point. So give me this real quickly in about 30 seconds. If the rain doesn't get you tonight, what are you covering?
I don't know. You have to ask. No, he's my boss. No, seriously, though. Summit lost this morning, or I guess they played this afternoon technically. Started about 1 o'clock. Summit softball fell to Daniel Boone 9-6 after scoring 6 runs in the 5th and 6th innings after trailing 9-0. And so that leaves them out. Currently, we have Summertown, Columbia Academy, and Loretto softball left. So we've got 3 games, but I think Mo is covering 2 of those, and we've got a freelancer over there too. So I may be done. I may be at baseball. I couldn't tell you, but hopefully it will be Summertown Summertown or Loretto softball or Loretto baseball. So looking forward to it.
It's good that you got a plan, Chris. As always, appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. See you.
Chris Yao reporting live from who knows where. Tennis court. I tried to put him on a baseball field. Clearly, he was not there. And either way, we appreciate the info that he's got for us. I guess we're going to close up the show here in a minute by going back down to Birmingham. Billy Derrick, who will be part of the George Plaster show, which will debut July the 11th, a 4 to 6 p.m. show. Billy was on with me yesterday. Today he's in Birmingham, where Kentucky is, 3 outs away from trying to pull the upset, but maybe not so fast. Auburn's got first and second with nobody out, down 3-1. Billy, if Kentucky pulls the upset, how big a win is this?
This is a big win for the Cats, George. They've still got to do a little bit more work. They got 1 out right now. They got to get 2 more. It's going to be tough. Auburn, they're one of the better hitting teams in the SEC. But for the Wildcats, George, this is the type of win that if they can get this one, and then they'll get LSU tomorrow morning, likely later tomorrow night, because everything's going to be pushed back. I kind of, this happen a lot with a lot of the lower seeds where they make a run and then they may find themselves, in a regional somewhere.
JP, how much time have I got?
You got about 5.5 minutes.
Okay.
Plenty of time.
Billy, what are you now hearing on Tennessee Vandy?
So, George, Tennessee Vandy has been pushed back to tomorrow on a time to be determined. So they will not be playing tonight, and they're going to have to see if they're able to get all the games in tonight as well. But Tennessee Vandy, it's not looking good tonight. They will not play tonight, and they're going to have to see when they'll be able to play tomorrow. And, George, quite frankly, it's going to be tough to get that one in at a decent hour tomorrow, I think, too, just because of all the rain they got coming down here to Hoover tomorrow around noon. So it's, like I said, George, they're probably going to have to move it to a single elimination format by Friday.
Okay. Take me through this. I know what the forecast is up here. About 7 o'clock tonight, it goes from no rain, but very overcast to 100%. What's right now? I'm looking at a TV that Birmingham looks very playable. What is the realistic forecast down there?
Well, for tonight, Georgia, it's looking okay. I think it's about the highest percent I'm seeing is about 60% around 6 o'clock. So they might get some turbulence in terms of the rain tonight. But The way it looks right now, George, they're going to try to get all these games in tonight. They got two more. You got Arkansas and Alabama coming up, and then A&M and Florida. They're determined to get those in. So tonight doesn't look nearly as bad as tomorrow, but we'll definitely see some rain down here tonight, I believe.
Kentucky is 1 out away from pulling this upset. Does this really affect Auburn any other than the fact you never want to lose? Does this really hurt them to any great extent?
I don't think so, George. It might hurt, how high they get in the hosting ranks from 1 through 16. I think they're hosting no matter what. But this loss might hurt them in terms of they might be, a 15 or a 14 national seed instead of a top 8 national seed. So it hurts them a little bit in terms of, moving on into a super regional. But I don't think it hurts them a whole lot in the long run. And we've seen this before, George, with a lot of the Vandy teams and even a lot of other SEC teams in the past where, quite frankly, the SEC tournament doesn't mean a whole lot. When you get into regional and super regional play, that's when coaches and players realize it's time to turn it on.
Billy, help me with this. You mentioned Kentucky with a run could maybe force the issue of getting into the NCAA tournament. Any other teams in the SEC that you think could force the issue?
That's a good question, George. Kentucky is one of those. I really think Alabama is one of those too. They beat, they had an upset yesterday, forgetting who they beat right now at the moment, but they had a big win yesterday, and Alabama is a team that with that win yesterday, they have kind of put themselves square in the conversation for being a 3 seed.
I think we just lost him, which is ironic because, yeah,
here we go.
Comes under the category of, I was about to say live radio, but that's not going to cut it.
Well, close enough.
Live what? What do we call this?
Streaming?
Streaming.
Yeah.
You know what? When you get to live streaming, anything can happen.
You get that right.
Don't let facts get in the way of a good story.
Hear, hear.
Any other any other lies we need to put out there before the end of the show?
No, I think that's good. Other than you're halfway through the week, George.
Oh, I'm fired up.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. We may be one pitch away in the Auburn game from giving you a winner. Kentucky's up 3-1 on the Auburn Tigers, and now it is official. Go Big Blue. Cats beat Auburn 3-1. Auburn probably doesn't hurt them to any great extent, but Kentucky, we'll see if that propels them to something better. Does the music mean I'm done?
Yeah, you can make your way to the exit, George.
Fine. It's a long drive back to Nashville. Thanks to all of you for being with us. Our coverage of the 2022 Spring Fling Championships will continue tomorrow. Same time, same place, 2 to 4 p.m. And thanks to the folks at MTSU, Chris Massaro, Mark Owens, for making this possible in the Hall of Fame room. You're watching on Main Street Media. We'll see you tomorrow.